All right, it's Super Centex After Dark, the rapid fire edition. Uh, DJ, you saw Crawford and Axtell play. Axtell got the win, just as we kind of predicted. What were your overall impressions of the game?
Well, it was first of all, the atmosphere was crazy, right? Like, I know you saw my tweet. I got there and it's like quintessential Texas small town, like Friday Night Lights kind of vibe going on. You
Mm-hmm.
could see the water tower in the distance, like country music playing out the speakers. Um, no, it was a good vibe. I was kicking myself because after the China Spring Franklin game, I went and I bought a little foldable stool to carry on with me to games just in case, and I forgot to pack it tonight. So there wasn't really a lot of space in the press box. I ended up sitting in the stands. Um, no, I mean in terms of football, um, you know, Axel's still really good, right? You got it really sucked to see Levi Leathers go out like that. I mean, 5 plays into the Longhorns' first drive, he just gets sacked. Crawling away from the huddle, man.
Mm,
And yeah, so that
that
was bad.
hurts. That
It
hurts.
it was they're hopeful that it's not serious. I think Coach Horn kind of has an inkling that his left foot ankle might be broken. Um, but I mean, AJ Fitch came in and he did miss a beat. I mean, like other than an interception and I mean he went 7 for 10, but I mean the horns are really fast. You know, they're they have the keys to make up for what they lack in size, and it didn't even look like they were that much smaller than Crawford. I mean, yeah, sure, Crawford. You've been to a Crawford game, you know those guys are like built, right? Like they're
Mm.
probably hauling hay bales when they're not at school. So, but I mean, Kate Smith got sacked 4 times.
Mm.
A couple of those were by Ethan Porter, who's a sophomore, right? Like he's this lanky, like uh pitcher. You know, he was their ace in the spring when they were making that postseason run. Um, yeah, but I mean, it wasn't that Crawford wasn't in it for a bit. They had some chances. You know, talking to Coach Jacobs after the game, I feel like they just got tired. They've been in their they've been through the ringer. So, um, yeah, I mean, uh, hope that Levi gets better because they got a special team. But I mean, if and there are some things that they got to clean up here and there. But I mean, Axel looks good.
Yeah, it's good. Uh, so Michael, you were out in Hillsboro and saw West and Hillsboro play. Um, I saw that Jaden Magruder actually carried the ball uh,
Twice.
twice. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
mhm.
yeah, he's a beast, isn't he?
He's really good. And clearly he can be a power back too. And it wasn't like it was, especially after the first one, it wasn't like you saw him come in, you saw him line up kind of in the I formation. It's everyone in the stadium's like, oh well, we know who's getting the ball. West probably knew it too, but he just bowled his way forward. Yeah, he's special. And that was a strong performance for an Eagles team that kind of probably needed a win after back-to-back losses. But I mean, again, in those losses, they were close. Their defense keeps them in games, and that's kind of what their identity I think is going to be this year. If their defense can just hang tough in some of these matchups, they've got a couple of guys on offense who are kind of crafty and they can make some things happen. It's just I don't think they're going to be a team that's going to take the top off of you per se, and
Hmm.
and 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 I think they understand that. Coach seemed to be really pleased with the victory. When you're trailing by 6 at half and you haven't scored, I mean, you're kind of thinking, oh, here we go. But again, the defense kind of kept them in it and allowed them to. Or I'm sorry, they actually led 6 nothing. But when West went on its 10 unanswered run there and took the lead, you're kind of thinking, oh man, like is the offense going to be able to do enough? And all it took was a couple of goal line plunges from Mr. Magruder, and that's all they needed. Yeah, it was a strong performance, for an Eagles team that again kind of needed that win. West was obviously disappointed with its result, but they've got, you know, they're young. I think that they can learn from, you know, playing a class up like this, especially their sophomore quarterback. You know, I mean, he threw a couple fourth quarter picks that, I mean, one of them probably, I mean, one of them got tipped in the air. Probably wasn't even his fault. He was just trying to make something happen, and the other one was, you know, probably kind of like a, yeah, you threw it into a tight window. Probably wasn't the best decision, but again, I think, you know, if they can just kind of lean on Coy Klish, who I think, you know, should be first team all name, by the way, that's a sick name.
It
Uh,
is.
Coy Klish, if they can just lean on him in the run game a little more, and maybe set that up earlier, that's what Coach kind of mentioned. Coach Woodard kind of mentioned after the game. If they can just lean on that a little more and get that established, like they're going to be fine. They've got size. They're imposing. West is good. Like we all know, West is good. I think they'll be just fine. That was kind of a tough one for them to, you know, fall on the road. But a great atmosphere, kind of like DJ had mentioned. The atmosphere was like really cool. You know, two towns 14 miles apart or whatever. I mean, a lot of people there. Energy was fun. It was homecoming for Hillsboro. Just a good vibe. And who doesn't love a good defensive slugfest game, right? I enjoyed it. So
Yeah. Well, and I'm pro big man carry. You know, I like to see the big men get some love there.
let
Like,
them shine, right? Yeah,
yeah,
let them shine.
absolutely. And obviously, everybody knows what Magruder can do on the D line. Um, we've really got some special D linemen here in Central Texas with like Jaden Magruder and Bryson Maxwell Steele from Marlin and David Clander from West and uh I think of Jackson Blackwell over at Lorena who's a Baylor commit. So yeah, we've got some dudes that can like push some guys around and make some plays. And I know every coach that you talk to when they're playing against Hillsboro is like, you really have to game plan for Mr.
Yeah.
Magruder.
Yeah.
So, real quick, so we had Brian Coates at the Marlin Hearn game at Waco ISD Stadium. Marlin got another good win tonight in pretty convincing fashion. So it looks like the Bulldogs are trending up. Um, and
They're
Zach
playing West
saw,
next week.
huh?
Marlin's playing West next week, so
Nice. That'll be
I'll be at that
fun.
game.
Yeah,
Where
that'll be a
where,
good
where
one.
is that one?
I said
It's at
Waco
Waco
ISD.
ISD.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, that'll be fun. That'll be
yeah.
fun.
Marlon's been doing some renovations to its stadium, so they've had a few Waco ISD games. Uh, and then Chad Conine, who's on his way to Abilene right now. He's going to Lubbock tomorrow for Texas Tech game. He was out in Brownwood. Obviously, he got some Underwoods. You got to go to Underwoods if you go to Brownwood. But he saw a pretty convincing La Vega win. I mean, Brownwood's a historic program, but La Vega just hit him in the mouth and kept hitting them. And so a good win for La Vega. And we absolutely have to talk about uh, the Robinson Rockets knocking off number two Glen Rose tonight,
Oh
49 to
wow.
Really?
42.
Wow.
49 to
That's
42.
amazing.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge win for Chris Lancaster and that Robinson Rockets program. Uh, it'll be interesting to talk to him. DJ will get that chance to see. They're probably flying high in Robinson right now because that's a really big win and an eye-opening win probably for everybody else in Robinson's district. The
Yeah.
China Spring and La Vegas and Gatesvilles of the world, Lorenas. If you thought Robinson was just going to roll over and be last in that district, I don't know. That's a big one for sure. And then real quick, of course, Thursday night we had Midway and University both in action, both getting their first losses of the year to good teams. I mean, Mansfield's a really good team. Midway was in that game, led it at halftime. University was absolutely in its game, only lost by a touchdown to Shoemaker, Class 6A team. So I think Midway and University are going to be just fine. Um, yeah, yeah, they're going to be all right. Midway plays Parker Heights next week in the district opener. Down that'll be in Killeen. And University gets Lampasas, and I would say I would pick probably Midway and University in both of those games. Parker Heights will be good, but we talked about it on the pod this week, DJ. I mean, about teams that we thought might could go 10-0. And like I said, Midway was right there in the game with Mansfield, just had to settle for field goals all night long when they couldn't finish off drives for touchdowns, and that cost them. And they also gave up the opening kickoff of the second half, so special teams breakdown. So they got some things to clean up, but I'm sure that Joe Gillespie and his guys will do that before next week against Harker Heights. Anything else that you guys would like to share before we get out of here? I'm
Well,
in.
you had mentioned Robinson's big win. They play Hillsboro next week, so that'll be
Yeah,
another
that'll be a
another
fun
good
one.
test for them. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that really
Yeah.
will be a fun
I
one.
mean, that obviously that district is going to be really, really good, really fun. But I mean, I never thought that Robinson was going to end up in last place. Like honestly, I feel like they've got the pieces to, be in games against the likes of Gatesville and La Vega and China Spring, Lorena, right? I mean, last year they beat Gatesville, so yeah, I think actually no, I'm wrong. I was at that game. Gatesville won, like just barely. It was that was
I just think
yeah.
I kind of thought Robinson would be everyone's pick for sixth just because they did sort of squeak into the playoffs last year,
Hmm.
first time in a while, and just with everyone in that district coming off of a playoff season from last year,
Yeah.
I mean somebody's got to be the odd team out, but it might not be Robinson. I mean, if you can go out and beat Glen Rose, you can go out and play with anybody. So
Yeah.
that's I'm just so impressed with that. That was the result of the night, I think. So Zach and I are here in Colorado. Had a long day, but a fun day. We went out and played some disc golf and got some serious, serious elevation in. Like, yeah, this course took a lot out of us, but it's been a good day, and we're gonna go see Coach Prime and go up against the Bears tomorrow. So should be fun.
uh, I don't know. This Crawford's fight song is that Baylor's fight song? Because they were playing. They did great, by the way. Both of these teams had great halftime shows. Their bands. But I was like, why does that sound like Baylor's
It
fight
might
song?
be. It might be. I'll have to think about that. I know Robinson's is "Oh Christmas Tree,"
Yeah.
which
Well,
I believe is "Oh Robinson," but yeah. Anyway, all
I'm
right,
gonna
y'all
go get
go
tacos. So
do
y'all have a good
what?
night. I'm gonna go get tacos. So y'all have a
Okay.
good night.
See y'all
Enjoy those, DJ.
later.